What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Truck Parking Clubhouse. I'm your guy, Lombard Trucking, a.k.a. Mike Lombard. We're always back here every Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. So glad to be back with you guys. And apologies for not being here last week. Actually, our streaming software last week didn't even let us record a in-studio recording. The said that there was too high volume. There must have been just so much content flinging around. For some reason, we couldn't jump on the live stream. So we're glad to be back here. Had a fantastic week last week. Actually, before I get into that, once again, about 30 minutes ago, this week's edition of Taillights dropped in your inbox. There's been a lot of online discourse lately regarding flock cameras. And we've got an article in there. It's kind of deep diving. Is your dash cam becoming a flock camera itself? And there's a current lawsuit going on that is claiming that it's a lawsuit going on with Motive on their dash cams. Are they actually becoming a part of the flock camera system? You have to go and find out, read all the details of that ongoing lawsuit. But also in this week's Taillights, last week we're at the National Truck Driving Championships in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We got some photos in there. We got to meet the head of the FMCSA, Derek Bars, for a quick interview. He talks about why the National Championship is so important. It's called the Super Bowl of Safety. A big shout out to all the drivers, over 400 drivers representing 55 companies across 49 states. Unfortunately, Hawaii was not able to make it, but 49 states. So a lot of drivers out there. Truly, if you're a driver out there watching or listening to this, look into your company. Talk to the people at your company. If they're not involved at the state, even the state level rodeos that you're doing, it's great. It's great for the company culture, seeing how the drivers are out there, their motivation, how dug in they are. They're absolutely incredible. So if that's something you want to be involved in, again, it's pretty rigorous. They study all year for these things. It includes a pre-trip inspection, a written test, and then a driving course that has some obstacles they have to navigate. Very focused on depth perception, but it's all about highlighting safety. So again, check out this week's Taillights. But again, big congratulations to all those who competed at the National Truck Driving Championships last week. Without any further delay, I want to get into this week's Clubhouse because we've got a gentleman that we partner with on here. He's been on the Clubhouse before, and he is big on helping drivers in just about any way possible. And if you've been following his YouTube channel, following his content, you know this is somebody who's very, very bought in on leaving the industry better than he found it. So I'm stoked to have him back into the Clubhouse. It's Sean himself, Truckin' Life with Sean. What's up, brother?
What's going on, big guy? How you doing?
Fantastic.
Glad to be back in the Clubhouse.
Freaking back on the Clubhouse. I'm glad to be back here on a Monday night too. I was really, really disappointed last week with StreamYard giving every bit of problem. I did it all. I turned it off. I turned it on. I rebooted. I deleted stuff. I cleared the cache out. Had a log out of everything. For still didn't have him, but I'm glad we're rolling strong this week. And to any guys tuning in live, wherever you're at, feel free. Hey, by the way, drivers, if you're tuning in, drop a comment below. If you are experiencing any weather, traffic updates, anything that's live on the stream, you want to let us know, or you just want to check in, tune in live, please let us know. Roadhammer, big shout out for listening. Yes, he does not like flock. He says to look at the Lytics biometric too. So, all right, I'm going to look into that. And big shout out to Ralph. What's going on, brother? And to all you guys on Instagram as well. But Sean, bring you back on the Clubhouse. It's glad to have you here. I'd love a little bit of a reintroduction and tell the people who you are and kind of walk us into what you're doing. Because actually, everything about how you got into trucking is about something that you're going to talk about tonight that we can't wait to hear about.
Yeah, it's an amazing journey, man. My name's Sean. I am from Georgia. I started driving about 17 years ago. I started driving. I was lucky enough to get through with 0 violations, so I'm very proud of that. Because you brag on that, I'm happy to go that long. But it wasn't luck. I tell you that now. It was that, doing what I was supposed to be doing. There was a lot of nights that I didn't want to get up and go. A lot of times I didn't want to get out there and pre-trip that truck. But I made it through my career with no violations, and I'm very happy about that. But I started driving. I went for a company called Rosedale Transport, company I work for now. But I started there 17 years ago. I left. I went and tried some of the bigger carriers out. I'm not going to knock about them. But I went to Heartland. I tried dump trucks, tried to do hot shots, but ultimately I came back over the road, and then I decided to come off the road almost 3 years ago, and I came inside. The office at Rosedale. And I started training drivers, and they made me a certified trainer. So I kind of trained the trainers, and then I worked alongside safety, and then I decided to open my own CDL school, which we'll get into that. and I'm excited. But yeah, trucking's been good for me, man. It's been a good career, and now I'm just ready to take it to the next level.
Dude, absolutely. So yeah, how many years driving total?
17 years.
17 years total.
17 years.
And hey, across the way too. I mean, quick shout out. You've had quite the transformation in your health and fitness as well.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I lost 92 pounds the last year that I was driving, and I've kept it all off. I probably go up 10, 15 pounds back down, but I stay at a steady weight now. I could lose a little more, but I want to trying to get built up a little bit, trying to get muscle back. But I did lose 92 pounds my last drive. I've got a book out. It's on Amazon. I wrote 2 books. The first one was the Trucker's Carnivore Cookbook, which was 150 air fryer recipes on how to eat carnivore in the truck. I do believe that carnivore is the best way, and I'm not a doctor. Okay, so disclaimer there, I'm not a doctor. It worked for me. My A1C was really high. I was able to get my A1C down, blood pressure reversed, cholesterol. But so your cholesterol, I was borderline high cholesterol. It's gone. I mean, I'm a totally different person now because of that. But it was easier to do in the truck. A lot of people go and they say, "Well, John, we have to eat out here because there's nothing else." That's a lie. That's a lie. You could actually do better. I do better on the road than I do at home because you only have a certain amount of choices. And I put this stuff in the fridge, and that's what I love to cook, but didn't air fryer. But I have a new book out, y'all. It's on Amazon also. It's called Carnivore in the Truck. It's actually a bigger, detailed book. It has 300 recipes, not just air fryer, but those who like to cook in the skillet. It's all how you can cook in the truck. You've got I got a Walmart shopping list, everything to buy. And look, I spend $100 a week, and I do it here at the house too. Last week I went and spent $110, and that's my week's worth of food. And y'all know in the truck stops you can spend $30 a meal, so it's crazy. So if you get a chance, go to Amazon, get the book. The Trucker Carnivore Cookbook was my first one. It ended up being a bestseller on Amazon, but now the new one just come out last week, Carnivore in the Truck with 300 recipes in it.
Awesome. We got a big shout out from Roadhammer too. He says he's been following you on YouTube. Nice review of his book in his channel as well. So big shout out, Roadhammer, for tuning in. And I love what you said about on the road. I was just talking to somebody about this, where somebody was asking me, but they're like, how are you able to stay so dialed over the road? And I actually described it to the monastic life. So like, you take a monastery, and where sometimes I look at a monk who's at like a monastery, and they at the monastery, they don't have they have no temptations of the world. They don't have the bars, the restaurants, the social life. Like all they have to do is their prayer, their fasting, take care of the land. Like there is no outside distractions to somebody at the monastery. And trucking is its own monastery, because that was the thing. On the road, there's no happy hour, there's no company lunch, there's no football game, going to eat wings. Like every distraction has been removed. There's no weddings. You're missing weddings, you're missing birthday parties, and we're all that's kind of bad or whatever. But you kind of live in this monastic life where any distraction you have in the civilian world is kind of just gone, and it helps you. And what quick question from Instagram, Paul is asking, what is the title of the book one more time?
Carnivore in the Truck.
Carnivore in the Truck, Paul. And I'm going to type that out in the chat for you. And somebody else is jumping in. Mark is saying, do you want to open up a school in South Carolina? I'm a licensed CDL instructor.
Yeah, well, you know what? We may do that. Once we get into the show, you'll have a little bit more about it. But my website is truckinglifewithsean.com. Explains our mission and our journey, and I'm gonna go into that here in a minute. And yeah, my goal is to not just do one in Georgia. My goal is to do one in Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina. Those are the next ways, and then Florida, of course, in last.
Yeah, for sure. Well, man, let's dive right into it. I mean, you got your CDL. What's going on with it? I mean, it's
first
crazy.
You got to understand how I got my CDL, and I'm very honest about it. And I'm going to tell you how, because I'm human, and everybody comes from a background. Everybody has mistakes. Everybody has different families they came from. I didn't come from a rich family. I didn't come from my mother passed away of an overdose. I mean, there's I came from my father's a preacher, so I got some good grounds in my background. But I didn't come from a rich family, so I don't want people to think that at all, because it didn't. But I ended up getting in trouble when I was younger, and I went to jail, did some time, and I got out. And I said, you know what, I need to change my life. And I went I wanted to go to get my CDL, but I got a GED in prison. Okay, didn't graduate high school, got a GED, and I went and got a grant to go to CDL school. And I was so blessed to be able to go to CDL school. And I went, and the third day there, can you imagine? I'm making $6 an hour washing dishes at Birdie Wings. My wife was struggling. She was making $6 an hour. We had this trailer. We had 2 little girls. They're grown now, but had 2 little girls and 3 girls actually. And then we were struggling. We were struggling to make ends meet. But the 3rd day of school, my alternator went out. And it was 8-week school. The alternator went out completely, and I had no way to buy an alternator. Didn't have the money for it. So my grandfather, bless his soul, he passed away, but he gave me 6 batteries. Okay, that's what he had: 6 car batteries and a car charger, a battery charger. He said, "Listen, this is the best I can do, son." And I loaded those batteries up every day, and I drove to school just like that. The batteries would die, I'd change them out, and it was a struggle. I mean, it was a pain in the butt, but I kept doing it. I'd get home. Sometimes I'd make it to the driveway. Sometimes I'd make it to the door. Before I ran out of power, I had to load all those batteries up, charge them up, put them back in. That's a real story. Then got through that. And the next week, on the 2nd week, the linkage broke. So the linkage, I couldn't change my gears. Couldn't change the gears in. So I had to climb up under there, put it in neutral, put some boards under the back so it wouldn't roll, crank it, climb back under there, put it in drive, ground back up, and then take off before my batteries went dead. And I did that every day to get through school. And the CDL instructor there, I wish I remember his name, but I don't. He would give me $15 a day to stay there. And this is back in 08. So this is gas was high. So he gave me $15 a day to clean up the school. And it was Chattahoochee Tech. So they had custodians and stuff. But I looking back and they did it out of his heart. And I got through it. But the day I graduated, I remember coming home to my wife and I said, "Look, I got it. We did it." She's like, "You're so happy." And I was so ecstatic. But then guess what? Nobody would hire me because I had a background. Now, this was in September, so then it was like almost February, 07 when I got my license, 08 before I actually found the job. I was doing dump truck jobs. It worked me 2 days a week. That was it. And I'm like, maybe this ain't what I wanted. I worked so hard to get this. Then finally I found Rosedale Transport. They said they'd hire me. Again, I'm so excited. But then the day before orientation, the day before we started, Billy Kay called me, and he's passed away also now, but he called me and he said, "Sean," he's like, "I'm sorry, I cannot hire you. I talked to your probation officer. You got to leave state and all this stuff." And mind you, I went to jail for some fake IDs. Okay. I didn't have or the kidnapper or nothing like that. I had some fake IDs when I was younger and I got in trouble. But so they couldn't hire me. So I come home and I was all upset. And she said, "Don't give up." She said, "Don't quit on what you want to do. Don't give up." And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to not do this. So I went and talked to my probation. He said, "No." So I went over his head, went to the chief of parole. And they said, "Okay, fine. You can have the job." So I'm like, "Yay." So I called back to Rosedale, and Rosedale said, "Listen, I can't hire you knowing, even if they said yes, we done got through orientation." The next day I called him. He said no. The next day I called him. He said no. Next day I called him. He said no. On the 5th day, he said, "If you'll just quit calling, I'll give you the darn job," is what he said. And that's how I got my CDL, and I never looked back. So the moral of the story is don't give up. Like if you're out there struggling, you want to change your life, things are going to be hard, but you don't give up. You keep going no matter what. And I encourage you to trust in the Lord Jesus Christ and just keep doing something. If you believe in something, don't ever give up. That's how I got, and it's important to say it. So that's how I got a CDL. That's how the whole thing got started. And then when I started writing books, if you go back and you look at my first book, which is a Amazon bestseller, they said, "You can't write books. You can't spell right. You're a bad writer. You can't do it." If you go look right now on Amazon at the Trucker's Carnivore Cookbook, I spelled a word wrong on the front page, and it's a bestseller. So you know what? Who cares? I didn't give up, and since then I published 7. I've got 7 books total, and you know what? I ain't never looked back. So when they tell you can't do something, that makes me want to do it again. Like I seen that Instagram the other day that said, "Tell me I can't do it. Say I can't do it." Yeah, bet against me if you want to. I'm going to do something because you know what? God's greater than me, and He's better than He's in the world. So that was it. But then I'm going to go into the CDL school, how that came across. So I had an investor, and I've always wanted to open my CDL school. So last December, I had an investor who offered $100,000 and said, "Look, I want to put $100,000 behind you. Let's open the CDL school and let's do it." I went looking for lots of stuff. Well, then the day before I met the guy who I got the lot from now, he said he wanted to run it like a CDL meal. Just like all these other schools, he wants to get out there and run these CDL schools and run them through, run them out, charge them $8,000, get them in, get them out. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to have a school where I could actually help people who had coming from a past. Maybe they can't get tuition. Okay. Maybe they need a little help. Maybe they need a little extra time. That was my vision. It was to be able to have a school with maybe a bunkhouse to get people here to kind of change their lives and give them a chance to go, not just to be a regular meal, but teach them right and teach them the right way. So I walked out on the money. I said, "I ain't gonna do it." Walked out. So I didn't know what I was going to do. So I went and met I said, "You know what, God, you told me before, we're going to figure this out." So no money now.
You walked out of so you split from the investor.
I split from the investor. I walked out. Wouldn't do it. Walked away. Walked away. True story. It's all on my internet. It's all on the site. Walked away from the money. Well, the next day I met with a guy that was get the lot from IR for him $3,000 a month for this lot. It's a 5-acre lot. And I don't want to go into details with it right now, but I met with him. He said, listen, I want you to succeed. He shook my hand. And let's put it this way, for the next year, that lot's paid for. Okay. I walked out with a lot, but I got no trucks. I got no trailer. I got nothing but a hope. Okay. And this was 3.5 months ago. 3.5 months ago, I had signed this lease. So I said, what am I going to do? Well, then somebody was watching my YouTube video. And I was telling the same story I'm telling now. And there's a truck. Okay. His name is Jose Cotto. I'll say his name. He's probably watching right now. He watches all the videos. But hey, I trained him years ago. And he said, Sean, he said, I'm an owner operator right now. I'm struggling. He said, I'm ready to come back to work as a company driver. I'm going to bring you that truck. Another driver paid for the gas. They brought me a 2014 Freightliner. It's the blue truck sitting right on my lot right now. I got a lot right there. I said, thank you, Lord. I still need a trailer. Contacted a few other people. The following week, another driver comes up, and he came from it's Brown's diesel mechanic, diesel shop right on Dalton. He said, listen, I got some drivers need to be trained. He said, I tell you what, here's a title to a day cab, 2012 International. He said, train a couple drivers for me and use this truck. It's sitting on my lot too right now. No money invested because I had a vision of what I wanted to do. Lot, 2 trucks. Then I needed a trailer. So, I talked to people about some advertising and different things like that. But then I went to go try to find out about leasing a trailer. I walked into I'll Do Leasing out of Dalton. You can call any of these people. Walk in there, never seen her in my life. Sit down. She asked me why I wanted to start a CDL school. And I told her. And she said, listen, what I want you to do. She said, if you could promise to change these men and cut it act like a bunch of women and teach them how to be men, she said, go to these high schools and talk to them about your past. She said, go ahead and pick out any trailer you want. I went and picked out a trailer. She gave me a title. So now I got 2 trucks. I got a trailer. I got a lot. Okay, covered. Then I thought, well, I still got to get insurance and all this stuff. So we started a thing called the Founders Wall. You can go to truckinlifewithsean.com right now. Look it up. truckinlifewithsean.com. You can go there, and it says fund the CDL school. I built what we call a Founders Wall. On that wall, I have the people. My grandfather's got his name on there. Billy Kay, the one who said yes after 5 days later. I put his name on the wall. It's a wall on the internet, and it's a wall at the lot. But drivers started coming in, $50, $100. Some gave $1,000. Rush International gave $500, and we needed $15,000 to get going. And the goal was by August 1st. Well, let me tell you, at 5 a.m. on August 1st, the last $150 came in, and the school's funded. And now that and you can't say that it ain't God, because it all came from drivers. It's drivers helping drivers. And that's what my school's going to be. Still need an office, but we got an office now. We got seven rooms. We've got a break room. We've got the 2 bathrooms. We have a shower. We have extra rooms in the back, and I got that rent. And it's also covered for the next 12 months. So I've got a school with it's all funded by drivers and people that want to help other drivers that seem the same mission like me. We sold these shirts right here. A driver sent me 100 shirts. Said, let's get it. He sent 100 shirts to me, told me to sell them. I said, I don't. He said, sell them for $30 a piece or whatever. So drivers were pitching in, buying these shirts. I think we have like 10 left. If you want one, go to truckinlifewithsean.com. There's only 10 of them left, but maybe 11 left. But you can get you one of these shirts, and that money goes to the school as well. But again, that's truckinlifewithsean.com. You buy a shirt, your name goes on the wall. But right now we have 51 founders on the wall, and it's a plaque on the wall, and it's on the digital. And it's all about drivers helping drivers. So now I can look back at that investor and say, you know what? I don't need your money. I can actually charge drivers who that need it and need a place and need a change. So it's a beautiful, beautiful story. And that's what my school is going to be. Another driver called me last week. He said, Sean, once you get open, I can't start a foundation until my actual school gets open. We're waiting on the states. The goal is October 18th. Everything's been sent in, curriculum. We're just waiting on the doors to open up. But he said, Sean, he said, I want to open a founder seat. It's called the Let's Get It seat, because I always say, let's get it on my channel. And I said, yeah, we can do that. So it's going to go online also. It's going to show the funds. And whenever it gets to a certain amount of money and somebody needs something or wants to change their life, they're going to come down here to Georgia, and we're going to put them in a seat, and then their picture go on the wall. But that's how the CDL school, that's how I got started, man.
Dude, that's a freaking powerful story, and we're gonna have to run this. We're gonna have to run this back. I can't wait to clip these up to spread the word, because I mean, I don't know how many other stories like it exists of how a CDL school is really open its doors.
It's not me.
And we'll definitely be running this back on the Lombard Trucking Show as well, because I'd love to get this out there to to any other viewers and people who can hear. That's freaking powerful. A CDL, it might be the first of its kind. A CDL school that was funded to open by
all our trailer right now. It says, it says Truckin Life Academy. It says drivers helping drivers. That's what it says on the side of our trailer. That's what it says on the side of my truck. It's all built by drivers. So drivers are sick and tired of seeing other drivers they cannot back. They don't know how to shift. Both my trucks are manual, by the way, too. We ain't got no, I'd have took it automatic. They gave me one, but the people who hooked us to the trucks, you're going to teach them how to be real drivers, but we're going to teach them how to trip plan. I'm going to go on the website in a minute. We're going to teach them how to do right and to get out there and eat right, live right. Like I said, when I was on the road, my mom died of an overdose and I had to deal with that. And there's things in there that I'm going to teach that CDL schools don't teach. I'm going to teach them what it's like to deal with stress, what it's like to get out there and how to deal with Atlanta traffic, to deal with dispatchers. Trucking companies just think you're a number. There's predatory companies out there to make you sign a contract, and then you go to their school, but they're going to pay you 40 cents a mile or whatever for a year, and you got to tough it out and run with a trainer 24 hours a day and barely sleep. I'm going to expose that. And that's my things. The industry can be a good industry, but it's turning into something that I don't like. And the only way it starts with the new drivers coming up, because I get them out of school now and I train them and I'm like, God, you can go to school. But I want these back in the day, back in the 70s, you got to think back in the 60s and 70s when drivers were learning to drive. What did they learn from? They learned from their grandfather. They were grandfathered in. That's what that phrase comes for. Not these meal schools. So our trucking school is going to be like any other before. And I have right now, if you're thinking about getting a CDL, or if you're thinking that maybe your grandson or your son or somebody that you want a CDL, if you want to get a CDL, I have a thing. It's online right now. It's called Pre-CDL School. Okay, it's Truckin Life CDL School Preschool. You can go to that right now. Go to my website, truckinlifewithsean.com. Everything's on the same website, truckinlifewithsean.com. You can go to that right now, and you can see that you can order this preschool. If you go to the preschool, I charge $199. It's everything the school is going to teach you. Now, it does not get you your CDL until you go to one with ELD or like my school when we open up, but it's going to teach you everything they're going to teach you. It's 7 modules. It's got 33 different lessons in it. You have to pass one 80% or more before you go to the next one. We talk about health, talk about all this crazy stuff right there. Everything that you need to know right there. So it is CDL preschool right there. He's showing on school on the line. But it's $199. And if you pass that, even if you don't go to my school, when you go to another school, you're 99% ahead of the game, because you walk in that school, you already know everything they're going to teach you. I base it on state curriculum, plus add a little Truckin Life with Sean style with it. So you need to go to that. It's $199. It's the best $200 you ever spent, because if you go to this and you go through and you're like, man, I don't want to be a driver, then I might have just saved you $8,000 from another school. We talk about predatory companies. We talk about how to find the best CDL school, not just mine. It shows you what to look for in a school, whether a school is bad or not, how many people per truck. My class, we're only doing 4 students per truck. I'm not going to run 10 people in the truck. So I got 2 trucks. My class size is going to be 8 until I get another truck, because I want that level of training, that one-on-one training. And with the overhead that we have now, I can actually do that and not charge $8,000 student. You know what I mean?
For sure. I mean, you really hit the nail on the head when it comes to, where it start, it's crazy, because we were just at I was just at the TXDA annual conference. I was just at the National Truck Driving Championships, and, safety is at top of mind. Safety, retention, truck parking, like all those are in the conversation. It's always, how do we make it safer? How do we do it? The technology is always, or the conversation is always circling around technology. How can technology make it safer? And it's like, this is a people business. Technology, I get it. They want the robots and the robot truck. That's a different conversation. But this is a people business, and it starts right with how you're getting drivers in the door. And you just exposed something really big right there. You had an investor who was ready to back it, but he wanted to run it just like all these other schools are run, where it's like, hey, $8,000, charge them, and then just like bare minimum, just bare minimum, bring them in, bring them out.
It's a revolving door.
It did.
But who pays? The driver is paying. It doesn't get the full experience. And these are not just people. These are not meal people. These are people who have wives and who have kids, and they're trying to change their life for better. And they're going to go out there and take a loan or do what they can to get at that, and then they don't even get a fair chance. Hey, right? Who's going to stand for that, man? Let's give everybody a fair chance. And trucking's not for everybody. I agree. It's not, but you at least should be able to know what you're getting into and have the right tools. And I want to get in that too. The right tools, like you said, parking. Okay. Parking's a big thing. Learning your safety thing is a big thing. Learning how to back is a big thing. All this is important. And people try to exploit these tools And then we can go into that too about the website, but what I'm building there too. But it's it's a crazy thing, man. But all it takes is people stand up and do the right thing. And that's what I'm trying to do. But y'all go check out the website, truckinglifewithsean.com. If you like to fund the school's funded. Okay, the trucks, trailer, office, it's covered. We don't need no money. But the thing is, what we do need is we need furniture. I ain't gonna lie. If you go to my website, you scroll down to where it says class. The class is empty. We need pens. We need paper. We need toilet paper. Today we'll tell you what we got in. Somebody donated me 18 cones. So we got the cones. Somebody donated 3 monitors, computer monitors. And then today we've got a total of 16 chairs. That's crazy. They're nice red chairs. We have 5 that have wheels on it. And then when the other 10 or the other 11 are just regular chairs that we can put in the conference room, but we still need fold out tables. We need that. I need a printer. I was thinking that. So if you do want to be part of this and you want to help out, you can go to my website and go down to the Classroom's Empty is Amazon list right there. You can order right from Amazon or however you want to do it. And like I said, just send me a message and I'll put your name on the wall with everybody else. I don't care if you buy a $3 pack of pens, your name will go on the wall as you help.
Yeah, we're going to make sure we put this link in the show notes, and we're going to show a little bit more of the website in a little bit. But I do have to give credit where it's due. And just about everybody who's come on the Clubhouse and anybody who comments on this and anybody who watches, and me personally, I think one of the best things number one, smaller class group is always great. So it's great, the amount of people we want to work with. But just again, if we want to make this industry would become safer almost overnight if the automatic restriction was removed. If drivers were, if I'm not saying remove automatic trucks, because I've talked to guys who've been driving 30 years and their hips getting tight and their knees. I get it, dude. I just drove that. I drove our cab over the International, and being in traffic, yeah, your hip starts to get a little bit tight. You X that by 30 years. I mean, that's a lot of abuse. I'm not saying get rid of automatic transmissions. However, the automatic restriction, it is. When that's how you learn, when that's your launch pad is an automatic tractor trailer, you're dooming. It's not looking like, if you were to ask the general public, and I might do this, I might try to get a poll or something on Instagram of, do you think that truck drivers in America should learn how to drive a manual transmission truck first? I can guarantee that over 90% would say yes. And I guarantee that there's a lot of people that don't even know that's not even, like, I still talk to civilians. I refer to people not in trucking as civilians, just like the Marine Corps. But when I talk to people outside of the industry, they still think that is how people learn. Like, they don't think that ever went away. The general public doesn't know that at all.
They think they're in a car. They start getting the mindset of a car. Nothing wrong with automatic. I drove automatics too. I don't mind it, but I learned on a manual. And I feel like, if anybody wants to come down to my school in Georgia when we open up in October, that they're going to learn on a manual. We're going to teach them to be real truck drivers.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to do it. And we've got JR, big shout out, JR Elmer, tuning in on LinkedIn. He definitely wants to see a little bit more of this website. So I'd love to go over, because you've built this and it's got, we showed the CDL preschool, but you've got a lot more resources on here you built for anybody, whether they want to join the industry or anybody who's already in it. There's a lot of tools on this website that you've got. So I want to bring it up on the screen real quick. Feel free to walk us through. Show
that parking guy, man. That parking guy's awesome. I know, if y'all ever remember, I don't know if anybody driving out there ever had the truck pocketbook guide or pocket guide. That's where I got this from, the idea from. But if you go to that, you can pull it up. I think it's on top somewhere. I was at the very front of the page. If you go back over to Pit Trucking Life, the very beginning of the page, and you can scroll down and it'll be there. All the way, you go scroll down right there where it says truck parking. You click on truck parking right here. When he clicks on that, you can scroll down to the state you're in. Let's just say you're in Georgia, for example, or any state, doesn't matter. But you click on a state somewhere.
I need to know my ABCs.
Just pick a state. It don't matter. They're all there if you don't. You pick a state, then when you click the state, you'll pick the interstate you're on. So let's say you're going northbound, southbound, whatever. You click it, and it's going to have every truck stop. And I'm trying to get more on there, but I have a lot of all the way from the beginning to the end of the state. So you can actually look and you can actually see where my next parking spot is. I used to go to that guide. I pull it up, look at it, and I write in there Wi-Fi, had terrible parking. And I love that book. That book was my go-to wherever I was at the state. I'd open it up. Oh, yeah, I can park here. I remember that spot. Same thing here, except you got details here. You can click details. It'll tell you if it has a shower, if it has laundry. It tells you their phone number, tells you their map, tells you where it is. And it's also got truckparkingclub.com in there, baby. You know what I'm saying? So you're on there and you're wondering, hey, not just free spots, but you've got the paid spots too, which you can use. If you use my code Sean20, okay, you go to truckpark.com, Sean20, you get a night free for your first time. I had to throw it in there, dog. But you get a free night. The Truck Parking Club is great. I loved them. I used them when I was out there. So I said, listen, we're getting all their spots in there. I don't have all their spots in there now, but I'm hoping by the end of the week they'll be in there too. But if you're out there riding around and you see a spot, you can click, report a problem, or this place is not here. And we've only had positive feedback, but I accept negative feedback too. Let me know so we make it better. But then you got all the states, all the parking. It's a great resource. And you know what? It's absolutely free, y'all. I built that free for truck drivers because there's no reason you should be having to Google looking for something when it's right here. One stop, one shop.
Yeah.
But the big news, check out the big news tonight.
Oh, whatever you're looking to dive into. I got the website.
Let's go with the Navigator. You want to show them the Navigator?
Yeah. So if I go to more.
So the Navigator, it's under pilot. It's under pilot right now. You can send me a message. You can send me a message if you would like to pilot this program. I'm looking for drivers who are experienced drivers who drive with an Atlas, who know where they're at. They don't need a GPS. Well, I've got a trucker GPS right. You remember the password? I've got a trucker GPS right here that you can use. Okay.
Type the password in the chat for me so we don't give it away.
I don't know how to do that. I can text it to you.
Oh, yeah. Shoot me a text real quick. We'll bring it up. Big shout out to Roadhammer again. Appreciate you tuning in on LinkedIn. He says, well, you sent it over to me. I'm saying, I'll read some comments. He says, schools can eliminate the automatic restriction by teaching students in a manual, taking the road.
Are you still there? You there? I sent it to your phone. Anyway, So I built. Can you get your phone?
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to pull it up right now.
Okay.
Just give us some shout outs to the crowd.
The reason he's not giving the password away because it's free. It's going to be free to everybody. However, we're under a pilot situation, so I'm building it. We've got it pretty much right. It's we got some bugs to work out. Should be ready. I would say maybe 2 more weeks. I could be sooner than that if I can get the right people driving it. We've got about 50 drivers driving right now. Today we had no issues with it all. It's great. So you go in here, and what you do is you go in there and you put where you're going. You put your you have to put in there the height of your truck, type of truck. You only got to do that one time, and you got to do it no more. You put your name in, and it's a trucker GPS, y'all. I don't want to say that mine's like Trucker Path or Hammer or anything like that. I'm not trying to brag, but I believe this is going to be pretty good. But let me tell you the reason why. The features that's coming out with it is unlike any other. I've got hours of service that's going to be built into this thing, and it's called a trip planner. So the way it works is you go into it and you say you're in Dalton and you're headed to Texas. It's going to, you put in how many hours you got. It's going to start looking for parking for you before you run out of hours. So what's going to happen is you're going to be like, okay, I'm about to run out of hours. I need to park. So you get your maximum amount of hours, y'all. Your maximum, not just spots everywhere and you got to look at it. You get in your trip plan, because that's what we all supposed to do is trip plan, right? The old days, I get out my map, I look where I'm going. I say I'm trying to make it here, and I estimate my mileage. This is going to do it for you. It's where technology comes in, and it's going to trip plan for you. It's going to say, okay, when you get down the last 2 hours, it's going to start looking for a spot for you. And then let's say you hit weather or you hit traffic. Guess what? It's going to say, hey, there's bad weather up ahead. You're going to run out, homeboy. You're going to be out of hours. You better start here. So it's going to start finding truckparkingclub.com. It's going to start finding the Loves. It'll start finding the Pilot. It's going to have them up there. And when you click the spot, it'll go right to it. Boom. So anyway, you get going through it on it. It's pretty cool. You may not be able to open it because you're doing it from your computer and you got to have location enabled.
Yeah.
That might be why.
I'll try it out. I have it saying I'm going to the Walmart DC and Seymour. I got full clocks.
Okay.
So I've saved it. So I hit start route. Okay, allow while visiting the site. So allow the location.
There you go. There's your trucker GPS right there, y'all. Got the clocks at the bottom, tells you where you're going, where you're at. You can narrow back out. It does turn by turn, tells you exactly where you're going. It's got the little screen up top. It works on your phone. Again, that's truckinglifeforsean.com. If you're interested in that, you got to figure out how to get a hold of me. You got to, if you want to put my email up on there so they can email me.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to put that.
Okay, my email is Sean. Okay, it's SHAWNGRESHAM. M as in magazine 90@gmail.com. If you email me, we'll have a little talk. I'll call you. We'll chat. If you're a driver who's been driving a while and understands the pilot program, you're the ones I want. I want to know exactly what bothers you, what don't like you. I'm asking drivers. Just like my school is drivers built by drivers, this GPS is built by drivers. And drivers are calling me all day long saying, I like this. I don't, hey, can I do this? This would be cool. This would be cool. And we're changing it around and we're building it. And like I said, my goal is to make this free for y'all because I believe every driver should have the tools that he needs. We pay enough, y'all. We pay enough at Wendy's. We pay enough. I don't know about y'all, but we pay enough money out here for everything. You know, I mean, we pay tickets, we pay this, we pay that. We need some stuff in life that, you know, we got to worry about. And that's why I like truckparkclub.com, because you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, it costs them a little bit of money, but nothing compared to having to get a ticket on the side of the road. That's why I like truckparkclub.com, because I always had to run out of time and be on a ramp and try to get a ticket. No, truckparkclub.com, you go right over and you can do it. This is built in with them, so you can still reserve your spots through them. You can reserve it right here through the website. You find a spot, it goes right to their link. That way you can still you still get your spots, but you shouldn't have to pay for a GPS. So the heck of paying $40 a month to a company, the heck of buying a $600 Garmin, okay, when you can do it for free. And with the technology we are in 2026, about to be in 2027, it should be free. And as long as I don't have anything to do with it, it will be.
100%. So, yeah, just to reiterate to anybody who's tuning in live, you can go to truckinlifewithsean.com to check it out. If you want to try out this navigation, he's piloting it. He needs feedback. His email I dropped in the comments, SeanGresham90@gmail.com. I'll make sure that that's in the show notes. And couldn't agree more. We just posted a video today. We had a driver. She was parked right outside her receiver on a shoulder. Cops were kicking trucks out, and they were gonna tow the trucks. Like, it was either move or get towed. You know, one tow or XYZ. And we're using this information and these testimonies to also talk to companies about why they're going to save money by parking with Truck Parking Club. So absolutely, dude, this is phenomenal stuff. Number one, that story. Again, we're going to run this back on another podcast as well, because that CDL school story is some of the most powerful stuff we've definitely had in the Clubhouse. This website's phenomenal. Again, yeah, where can the people find you if they've got any more questions besides your email?
truckinlifestyle.com. They can call my phone. I have no problem getting my number out. 404-933-9411. Shoot me a text, man. 404-933-9411. I may not answer it, then shoot me a text, and I will call you back. I talk to everybody. I try to answer every comment.
Dude, you heard it here. He's got his phone number live on the screen. Sean keeps himself wide open for drivers to help them out in with anything they need. And I can say that with a testimony. This guy lives and dies by the phone. So again, if you've been listening for the last 37 minutes, Sean is an individual who is already leaving this industry better than he found it, which is exactly why we partner with him here at truckparkingclub.com. So if you need parking tonight, or again, you can get you can go right on his website to check out wherever you need parking, but you can use the promo code Sean20 to get $20 off your next booking. But with that, guys, that's going to do it for this week's Clubhouse. If you need anything at all, you talk to me or you talk to Sean. But with that, guys, stay safe. Let's hammer down.